to earn the contrail. A look at it there. We saw it in the gameplay yesterday. That looked fire. You complete all the challenges. The brand new pickaxe. The crowbar right there. I'm doing that right away. When that goes live, I'm doing that right away.
So you have to, don't forget to start the stream, Courage. I know you're excited. The LTM will be there, okay? You just got to wait the 2 minutes, get ready, you know, get it into your,
do my little dance
game. Exactly.
No, we'll definitely be live for that. Don't worry. Guys, without further ado, I'd like to begin to get ready for our first game with our look at our finalists, 99 of the best Fortnite players in the world competing here today. What are some big names on this first page, Luke?
I don't even know where to begin with the list of players that are playing today. You have names like Nate Hill and the rest of the FaZe clan. In fact, 5 out of 5 players from FaZe qualified for these grand finals. 72 Hours from Liquid, who we saw put on a show. You don't need materials. You don't even need HP. All you need is a drum gun and a dream, and you can push around outside and rotate on your opponent. The thought processes that go through these players' minds is incredible. You got C9, Alliance, World's Best Gaming, Trouble Boys, and teams, countless teams. Yes. Envy. It's incredible.
And then on page 2 here, you see Sentinel's Animal. He was one of the 2 players who have had 10+ Elim games. Ghost Aiden was right there with him as well. Saf, who's done well in the summer skirmishes prior to this, continuing to put his name up there. Ghost Bizzle, a big name with that Ghost Gaming organization who've seen so much success this weekend. Heading out of the other side of the list, number 59 spot, Liquid Poach. Arguably a competitive fan favorite to potentially win the event this weekend. We'll see how he performs today. And then this was from last night, and I'm just going to quickly run through. FaZe Tempo, Tfue, Hysteria, Chap, J-Omok. You look, C9 Blind is on this list. Flower from Rogue. It does not. And what a stacked lineup we have heading into today, competing for the 1.5 million.
On top of that, you have players that are playing on a controller. You have players that are playing on keyboard and mouse.
Yes.
Nick Merckx is going to put on a show in Tilted Towers. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. And the best part is he's not alone. Aiden was consistently dropping Tilted in his games, which means these two might end up having a little face-off at the beginning of almost every single game if they both trend to where they're used to, where they're comfortable going.
And I know a lot of people were talking to Nick about Aiden, being like, hey, look, fellow controller player, showing up big time, putting up some big numbers. Nick was here at it, and he wants to go ahead and provide his own stuff. Speaking with Nick actually last night, he mentioned we didn't kind of see the one game he had 6 Elims. He was trailing someone in the storm. Hits him 3 times to drop him to 1 HP, and the storm eliminated them for his 7th Elim. So that's how he missed out on that free final 3rd point. Either way, Nick did well yesterday. So much competition. Let us know who you think's going to take it home. I got to ask you, now that we know our 99 players, who's the favorite?
I mean, I'm part of Rogue. I got to pull for Double Flower, but at the same time, I mean, you have the list of players is incredible. I'd love to see a number of these guys run into each other. Chap, Tfue, 72 Hours. Imagine all of them in a ball together, stuck in the same 1-by-1. I wouldn't even know where to begin, to be honest with you.
That's the incredible thing about this live crowd. Yesterday, when Chap and Tfue began to kind of battle it out, we would just set the tone. We would swap the perspective, and everyone would take those couple seconds to realize who's about to actually fight, and you'd hear everyone here begin to cheer like, oh my gosh, here we go. 2 Titans in competitive Fortnite about to go at it. Again, if you have never watched Fortnite in this style gameplay before, it is very different from your normal, let's play some solos or duos at home. These lobbies will be stacked with players from top to bottom who are at the top 1% in skill, and it changes how it's played too. You're going to see as we get towards those later zones, instead of there being like 10, 15 players left, well, there's going to be like 40, Lupo.
Very different. And like you said, these competitive lobbies, if you're looking to improve your own gameplay, these are the kind of matches to watch. You're going to see people changing their trajectory depending on who's going to be around them. Rotations for these are incredibly important, and players know the trends, where other players tend to go, where to gather the best, the best material locations, still come away with a number of chests. Because dropping directly into POIs is not the most common way to play these. People play safe, especially because the top 10 gets you a single point, and 1 and 2 eliminations, while those help with tiebreakers, which don't get me wrong, those are incredibly important, the points matter.
Oh yeah.
Points matter big time.
And the crazy thing too is a lot of these guys have experience playing against each other in some of these solo scrim lobbies. They know Liquid Chap likes to land whaling. Tfue likes to land down to the desert area and kind of the outskirts of Paradise. They're going to keep that in mind when they're going for their drops. We saw Tempo the whole day yesterday was going Snobby Shores. Hysteria loves to go Greasy. Nick Merckx loves to go Tilted. You can kind of see how the minds of these players are going to be running with okay, we know, well, this guy's here, this guy's here. I've got to be a little bit careful on exactly where I drop.
As a competitive player, do you think that they're going to make choices and decide to go to those locations thinking, you know what, I think I can beat Chap or Nick Merckx or whoever trends, like you said, Hysteria goes to Greasy quite a bit. Do you think players are going to choose to go to those locations specifically to try and get an engagement against somebody that they may think they have an upper hand on?
Maybe early on. Maybe early on. We'll have to see. There's Saint, who had a pop-off celebration the other day. Everyone's in the lobby. They're getting ready. A look at the beautiful stations they have there. Folks, the battle bus is launching. It is time. In the next 6 games, we will find out, well, who is a hell of a lot richer. Let's get into it. Game number 1. Who will come out on top? Remember, Victory Royale. You win this game, you automatically win $25,000. But let's be honest, everyone here is already a winner this week.
And you see in the bottom right, we're going to rotate through a number of top performers from the previous qualifiers just to take a look at where everybody's dropping. The map already getting a pretty solid spread. You got a lot of players. I mean, this is a bus straight across the middle, basically, which means everywhere is eligible. Snobby Shores, you see players dropping outside over the coast again to try and get as low as possible.
Ooh, Tilted. Tilted's actually very light landing, only 4 players. 4.
One is rotating in from Shifty, actually completely unoccupied. I would almost, you see one is cutting back over the river, potentially seeing nobody else is going there, saying, okay, I'll gladly take all the loot. Let's go get as many as we can.
There's Tempo and Snobby. No surprise there. Morgoss had some crazy scenarios in his day of playing. If you remember, so low HP, was able to get some limbs when you thought it wasn't possible. 99 players in this lobby. And no surprise here, Aiden is in Tilted. The man who surprised so many people, said the other day was arguably the best day of his life. And look at Nick Merckx, already tagged up and weak and Tilted. We'll keep an eye on him later on, but this is in Viking Village. Saf going up against Cryo. Cryo, if you remember last night, won a coin flip to make it on in today.
A lot to see here up against Ghost. Saf is an excellent player, very, very good at quick reactions and quick edits, and Cryo hopefully can take advantage of his coin flip. Does not make it out the first game here. Viking Village pretty ruthless when it comes to loot at times. The building's there's a lot of tight quarters. They're playing out in the open though, and the exposure costs Cryo.
And this is Jack from United going up against Bartonologist. You see using that ramp edit to get a clear view. Tries to farm some extra materials, doesn't quite get a chance yet.
See the feed Poach picking up an elimination.
On the Povsey. As Jack clears out that sight line. Still just watching his back for a second. I don't think, does he know Bartonologist is
he might not
right on the other side of this wall? Yeah, Bartonologist is just looking for the drop here. He's just waiting. It looks like there's an engagement about to go down. Bartonologist peek in the corner. Hasn't jumped out yet.
Well, he's got it.
That blue submachine gun, though, can absolutely shred this early on. He does have a health disadvantage at the moment. Trying to break on in. Maybe get a sight line of his opponent down low. Is he hiding into the pyramid? He is. He uses that time to pop under their shield, it appears. As now you've got to think Jack has a ton of health advantage and gets the hip-fired spread. Beautifully done from him. Yeah, he popped a big shield to go to 200 HP. And that's when it's kind of out of reach for Bartonologist.
It looked like it took just a couple crits there with the AR midair on his opponent, Bartonologist. Now this is the fight. I saw the elimination of the feed, but here's Povsey going down to Liquid Poach up here. Ooh, a quick midair burst. The only weapon Poach was sitting on, a gray burst, and that was enough.
Now just north of Flush Factory, you see Takada looking for where exactly Snood could be. Very low on materials. At least he's quite healthy at 175 HP. Snood had a major disadvantage there. Looks like he'll go ahead and just kind of leave this build for now. Maybe try to farm up some trees, get himself some wood here, Lupo, to build.
Didn't want to get caught in a 1v1 in a tight quarter situation against Snood. Not enough materials early game to engage inside a building. Players typically use like a wall or a ramp mid-fight to stop even just a single shotgun blast if the timing is perfect. You saw there quickly the circle Courage almost perfectly centered, maybe a little south side, which means pretty much everybody, unless you're maybe in Junction or the very top right, the northeast corner is going to have to, they have plenty of time to farm up materials, which means I would expect late game fights to be very competitive. Typically if the circle is shifted hard the one side or the other, you know, top, bottom, east, west, wherever it is go. If it's very far away from players, those players are almost easy pickings just because they don't have the materials. And in competitive games, Courage materials you almost choose over anything else.
Turkey Lips, who led day one with eliminations in the qualifiers, looks like he hasn't skipped a beat.
Catches Trouble was X's off guard there through the doorway. Looks like J Cuddy's trying to bait with the trap here. Somebody must be in the area. World's Best Gaming's Unicorn rotating around the outside. I think I saw him yesterday wearing actually like a rainbow sweatshirt. It's pretty cool.
Nobody with 2 elims yet. And again, to set the tone for just how crazy these games are, how different they are from what you're used to playing at home. There is still 78 players left in the lobby, and the first zone is about to begin to push. That was Punisher cutting down his opponent there. But yeah, look at that, Lupo. I mean, at home, right? You probably have, what, 35 players left at this point? Maybe 30? 78. I think players are taking the passive route for this start to today.
Now, there's a high number of players that have 1 elimination. Nobody right now has 2 currently. Horrify goes down to Mac from Soar. The accuracy on the shotgun shot from a lot of these players today looks fantastic, which means it's gonna come down to who makes a mistake first.
Goodness. Look at the ramp block from Aiden onto Crunch. He blocks the rocket, it damages Crunch, and then he follows up with the elim there. Aiden still in a good spot. Nick Merck still alive. These two, the 2 kings of Tilted that we've seen so far this week.
It does make me wonder. We've seen players analyze each other's gameplay. Aiden most likely very aware that Nick Merckx goes to, I'm going to be honest, the same building almost every single time. Do you think he's purposely avoiding an engagement if possible?
Listen, Aiden's gone basically everywhere around there, but in the engagement feed, Emad just took down Tempo from last night phase of the 4 games. Phase 1, 3 of them. This was actually Tyler's in an engagement with Painful PvP, and right now Painful looks like he had all the advantage, and yeah, he did. Tyler's down early, our kind of outspoken player from yesterday. Unfortunately drops here early in game 1.
Now there's still 5 games left for these players, even after this one has been completed. So a bad game or 2, it doesn't spell the end.
Is this Nick versus Aiden? Is this Nick versus Aiden?
Shot to Nick Merckx goes down. Aiden says, "Welcome to Tilted."
And there, oh, Aiden let him know.
I gotta say it, hi Twitter.
That honestly. Right there, folks, is what it's all about. Aiden knowing the reputation of Nick Merckx. Nick now seeing a new controller player trying to claim his Tilted area. And well, I feel like that's a battle we're gonna see a lot today, Lupo.
Psalm building up against, I believe it is it Levake here up in the sky. A lot of layers here, and there's a kind of a 3rd player potentially entering, maybe 3 or 4. They're very exposed right here. I'm surprised. I was going to say, I'm surprised no one has begun shooting down the structure here. It looked like it was built extremely vertically. They're kind of exposed.
Yep.
Psalm's got to be very careful that it doesn't look like he has a bounce pad. I would expect him to kind of have it out. Aiden has just claimed Tilted Towers as his own. Takes out.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are about 15 players at least who have 1 elim in this game. Aiden, the only one at 3, has earned our first point today. Aiden continues his tear as he has claimed Tilted Towers. We said 4 people landed there at the start of this game. Everyone was eliminated by Aiden as he's now at 3.
The zone is starting to, it's going to have to start pushing players in. You're going to see people that are, this is kind of the beginning of the mix-up. You know, chaos typically happens, the storm closing. Now we're going to see where the next circle is. It's centered over Tilted Towers, which means Aiden doesn't even have to move.
He's big chilling right now. There's a drop coming on in as well. Aiden's thought process, it looked like he basically said, you know what? I know Nick Merckx is going to go Big Gray. I'm going to land at double L's, loot Big Red, loot the new building, and then once I have everything I could ever want, then I'll challenge Nick at Big Gray. And it worked out perfectly for him there. He's still maxed on HP. Here's Boyer, who we just saw pop a medkit to get to full health. Over to Marcides now on the edge of the football or soccer stadium. So he's trying to spot this player. You hear listening for those audio cues. It's actually WBG Punisher who took down Tempo earlier on.
In the feed, Tfue takes an elimination there on Powder from Alliance. That is his first elim. Poach still has 1. The list of players that are sitting on 1 elimination now is monstrous. J Cuddy actually has 2, but still Aiden, the only one, you see the board there, only one with 3. The only player with a single. Aiden actually just picked up his 4th elimination, which puts him 1 away from a 2nd point.
I mean, can this man be stopped?
The engagement down here, though. He's trying to drop the structure down, looking. You see that you could even hear the fall damage right there. That should be a cue.
He caught onto one layer of a ramp, though, which kept the high ground for his opponent, and now Marcides knows just how tough of a situation he's in. Trying to get the quick edit to peek on out. Oh, can't get the structure shut down in time. He's wearing a great shirt, though, so I'll give him that either way. Punisher with the elim.
Style matters, but the points are everything, Courage. Unicorn, Sakairos, very small. They're 2 floors away from each other. This is Aiden's 4th elimination earlier. A rotation in on lasers. Absolutely lasers. That gold AR is incredibly powerful. Chap building up here. It did look like Aiden picked up a chug right as he cut away, which means he's full health, full shield, ready for the next engagement. He's still safe inside the zone, but Chap here just on the west side of Dusty Divot, stuck in 1v1. But we've seen Chap build. We've seen Chap take advantage of height and all of the structure here that he has ownership of, and we're going to watch players still continue to do that. They're going to break out anything they can, take ownership